don't understand, but,
9 o'clock is,
Support our businesses.
9 is the ribbon cutting, so 8:30 is like start time, but 9 is the actual ribbon cutting. But
Oh, so we got time.
we got a little bit, yeah, we're not,
Oh, I thought the ribbon cutting was at 8:30.
no, I just reviewed and I asked Ebony just to double check on, but I'm expecting.
Right? I was just in there the other day, I'm like, what are we reopening?
yeah,
Oh, we're recording. Okay, well, good morning.
Oh, you didn't hear me? Okay.
Fantastic business, that's what we're,
Yes,
so,
yes, and a good supporter of some other local businesses at Shaw's too. I just talked to the radio station. I think they're doing stuff as well. So one of the things I love about Ellsworth, it's got a bunch of a good local ecosystem supporting each other. So good morning. Sorry that Ashley's not gonna be able to join us, but thank you, Nate, for joining us as well. We've got a decent agenda here, but I think we can get through it pretty quick. I know a lot of us have to be at a ribbon cutting for Shaw's, which we're really excited about, and some other folks. So I'll just start off quickly on, we have an opportunity, I know was when we did the last round of lease discussions with Enterprise and others. As folks know, we were getting the new EV chargers out here, but we really looked at a lot of the fleet stuff, and it didn't make sense to really add any new to the municipal fleet because just cost-wise, the EVs that we were looking at that were comparable with the others weren't cost comparable even over the long term, including maintenance and gas costs, et cetera. So, but I asked our fleet management person with Enterprise to kind of keep their eye open if that was to change. They let me know, especially based on our vehicles that are kind of reaching the end of their life cycle. And they let me know that there's an $18,000 credit being offered through the 14th on a four-wheel drive Hyundai vehicle that would be in the same category as what we're trying to replace the code vehicle with, which has over 150,000 miles. It's a former police vehicle, so that 150,000 in terms of hours in the car for the engine is probably a lot more than what 150,000 would be. Plus, this summer, really probably late spring, we're hoping to start up the short-term rental registration program to really have our code team. That's one of the reasons we talked about last budget cycle, to start doing more of that. So it seems to me that this could be an opportunity. You can see that capitalized price of the vehicle is about $24,000, as opposed to the MSRP is about $41,000. The total lease gets to be $493 for that 72 months, but you can actually see at the end of the 72 months, we're looking at $2,500 to buy out the vehicle, which I think the vehicle very likely will be worth more than that at that time. So this could be a good, even longer than 72 months vehicle for the code enforcement office, plus the added fact that I had Robert look into it on gas prices. They're about between $1,200 to $1,500 is what they're doing a year now. So having this vehicle will also save just, being able to park at the new EV chargers here every day at the market rate that we pay for electricity. We won't realize all of that $1,200 to $1,500 in savings, but probably another $750 per year in gas savings as well. So seems like a good deal, something I'd like to potentially move forward on, but also just wanted, I know with the time frame, that's not till the city council meeting isn't being until later, but how we would treat this as, can the city manager move forward on this type of thing if we were to want to go this route, off budget cycle, but also, taking advantage of this deal, so.
Where would it come from in the budget?
We have some capital funding that we could use. It could be some undesignated spending, with the overlay. We're not nearly at our overlay level right now, so that's.
Yeah, so that would be, that has to come from the council, then you don't have authority to do that.
Okay.
If you did it through the budget, it was a budget line item, but.
Yeah, it's not.
If you're going to take it outside the budget, then.
Okay, so we'd have to put it on a council meeting.
Only the council can authorize fund balance.
And an undesignated fund balance spend. So let me see if maybe we can get it to the additional meeting we did for Maine Organics. And if I can get a little delay on the, they said the rebate's through the 14th, but if they can give us a little more time to consider. If not, these things happen. Sometimes deals go forward. It doesn't align with the city's budget processes, and there might be another deal later on. We will probably still have to look towards another vehicle with code, as that's part of the budget processing we're going through and moving forward. So I did just want to bring that to y'all's attention. But
so this wasn't one of the vehicles we had, the 8 that we had allocated, okay.
No, code was kind of next on the list as, not an immediate crisis. We do maintenance but at that 150,000, it was in that like red category of, this one's going to be coming up soon, but we didn't decide to move that. So
Is the police department using that extra one that they kind of got in under the wire? Are they using that now?
they are the AMHC person is now onboarded there, so they're using their old one that they previously used. So she's, from what I've heard, that she's doing great and a big help. And I know actually Tina and her just worked on their first kind of big case together. So, always, especially this time of year, it's difficult work and great to have great partnerships between the police and our local social service agencies and our general assistance amazing director here. So that's going well. So I'll revisit with the team on this and work with Enterprise and see if we can get a delay for a couple weeks.
I
What
think
is
go ahead.
what is the date of our next meeting?
I think it's the 18th for council and then 20-something.
Okay, so they're both beyond that.
27th for,
I mean, it seems like a heck of a deal to take advantage of.
You're only gonna need to find about $2,000 for the rest
Yeah.
of the fiscal year, so.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Right, you can get that.
what I was gonna say, Charlie, is, in addition to all this, when those Enterprise folks were here and they kind of broke down, gave a breakdown about like, here's the cost per year, and that type of table I thought was really helpful.
Yep.
So if you have to bring this back to the council, having something like that again.
just having a little bit, if we're
Yeah.
a little more
'cause it
formal.
Just it shows the value.
Right.
Because, this is a pretty good deal for EFE, and I think it'd be a good, it's our kind of our first, attempt at it and see how it goes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like a good one where it's all local, so all the concerns about charging, all that would be.
Local charging,
Managed.
in 72 months, you had $2,400 on buying it out.
Yeah.
Cheaper on gas, and it's a 4-wheel drive. I looked at Car and Driver. It's 8.5 out of 10. It's considered a good car. So I'll get more details on it and bring it back hopefully for that meeting. And I'll hand it over to Nate before we go into a little bit of the updated budget scheduling.
Everyone stare at the screen. No. So just so you know, following the timeline here, so the school bond applications were submitted. Their due date was on Wednesday. They're submitted on Tuesday to Tony and the team at Maine Municipal Bond Bank. I've confirmed that they've received everything they need, so we're good to go there. Also wanted to touch base about paychecks. I know we talked about it several times throughout the course of this fiscal year about the overtime, especially in the police department, how it wasn't being properly categorized in the migration over to Cassell. So we actually had a meeting set up last week, or this past week with, I met with Sean, Ashley, IT Nate, and also Carrie in HR, just to kind of go about how we can fix this. So we actually, IT Nate was actually able to pull a report from Paychex to kind of get the correct classification of what the dollar items should be for the specific GL accounts. So all the overtimes are properly accounted for. So I've actually gone through July, August, and September properly, journal entry, and make sure everything is in the correct category. So that way when we're looking at obviously the budget, Sean specifically can see that what those overtime amounts are, and obviously it's correctly accounted for. Because currently, if you look at it, you see a lot of just payroll full-time, where it's not being broken out between investigation, court time, all the specific categories that police has. So you'll see here, probably by next Friday when we have the Big Finance Friday, you'll see the actual correct allocations of those overtimes. So it's not looking like everything's just lumping into that one category. And then I know Ashley's not here, she's out sick, but I don't know, do you guys have the printout of the budget timeline in front of you?
Yep.
Is that, okay. So obviously I just wanted to go over that really quick, just because I want to get your feedback and make sure everything looks good on our end. I'll just jump to, obviously, we're already in February, but so far, obviously, we're following the schedule. I know Maura did a post to remind the outside agencies about next Friday. the deadline to get all the applications submitted for Office of Social Services and any of the outside commissions. And then if you scroll down, sorry, I'm scrolling down, you're just looking down. But if you look, you can see we have February 24th through 27th. I know, I see inundated calendar. We probably have about 6 or 7 a day, just meeting with all the departments and going over the budgets. Obviously between Charlie and myself and Ashley and obviously the department heads. So that'll be the last week of February. And if you see, obviously the first week of March, we're looking at, obviously getting Charlie's recommendations, getting those budget books together. And then if you look at the workshop schedule, we have 13th, and then we have 20th, 27th, and looking at the final workshop on April 3rd. And the goal is, as you can see, on April 21st to present the final budget book to the council. So I just want to obviously get your guys' opinion, make sure there's anything that you see that needs to be changed, or if you had any feedback on this, but obviously that's our goal, to get everything finalized and ready to go, because the goal is not to be done like it was last year on June 27th. So any questions, comments, concerns?
School.
Yeah, that's exactly what I had.
Where's the school in this schedule, school budget?
Yeah, I know talked to Ashley previously that she was going to try to arrange a time with the school on just aligning on when that backdating from the election date, which I know is talked at a previous finance committee meeting here. So let me get you let me get that aligned to this as well. When the actual, I know we reviewed the previous schools like general timeline from I think December when we talked about it, but we should be able to kind of firm up a final date on when they're going to be producing their final proposal. So,
And allowing enough time, I think, for feedback and back
Yep.
and forth on that, as we do with the rest of them.
yeah, and I think we'll be able to, unlike last time around, I think have a much clearer perspective on the whole piece this time.
Yeah.
And I especially when I get the draft of the, Nate's trying to get it for me by the end of this week for like kind of the first full in just detailed budget of budgeted versus actuals versus requests. There's still some things that we're cleaning up there, so it won't be really ready for prime time yet. But by the time we print out those initial budget books, as at the beginning this time, so you'll be able to see a broader picture and to say, okay, this is directionally where we're at, and as the school kind of moves forward to, what that could affect to the mill rate, and what if we have to do cut exercises or where you guys are comfortable at. I know we're trying to be in a lean year here, so we'll know a lot more in a couple weeks.
Great. And what about the other 17 meetings, Nate? When are those?
I figured we could just scatter those like Saturday mornings, maybe Friday nights. and
That'd be
stuff.
great,
We'll see
yeah.
about throwing those in
No,
the schedule.
this is great. Compared to last year, it's really,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for all the hard work getting us into this good position. Finance team, Charlie.
Yeah, and I think the other piece, as kind of noted in here in the details in the February, Ashley's been doing an amazing job in getting the applications out to social services. I think we only have 5 right now. I said, I'm sure that'll be here on the 13th. The 14th is the deadline. There's all kinds of and we're going to stick pretty hard to that. We notified everybody from last year. She's done follow-ups. Letters have been sent out. So I think there's already been a couple requests that I've seen that are substantially more than the previous year. I know we talked about the last committee meeting of maybe setting a internal goal. I could see it changing maybe even our ordinance on this on never more than 5%, although we could go flat funding or less, but also having kind of a subcommittee of this council review those on the 14th once they're available, maybe bring in some of the social services agencies at a smaller level to really dig down into why they increases the requests or not, and to make an initial recommendation to the full council at a later meeting. But then maybe in this, we have an opportunity at the end of the cycle too for, as we notify what the recommendation of the subcommittee is here for the social services, that they'd have an opportunity to make their pitch to the full council on if they agree or disagree, just like we have department heads as well, if they agree or disagree with my manager's recommendation. So,
Yeah.
or the council disagrees with my manager's
All
recommendation.
kinds of people that can disagree with it.
Yeah. I like it. feel like we have a good rapport and back and forth on transparency and accountability. And same thing as last year, we're going to try to get the drafts up online as well. We're not just going to be publishing the finals online so that our citizens, if they really want to go through things with a fine-tooth comb as well, and always happy to have the feedback and the edits from the citizens. I know we have a lot of really engaged citizens here that with a lot of former expertise in the council that I really appreciate their feedback last year, and we'll do so again this year. So,
Could, once you guys are able to, could you send out, calendar invites for these dates?
yep.
That helps.
And I think we're trying to do the most, it's like Thursdays in March, essentially.
Yeah, I think it's great, yeah. It's consistent and you can rely on it.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but I'm going to miss the first budget meeting. I thought I had it timed right this year, but I don't. I'm going to be on vacation that week, so, sorry.
Understand, well,
It's okay. You can zoom in, Michelle.
Yeah, from St. Kitts.
yeah,
beach with
maybe
your-
blur your background,
I'm not
please.
thinking that's going to happen.
Your
But yeah,
Wi-Fi.
feel free, obviously, we're recorded too, and, of course, any questions, or if we just need to have a side conversation about, once you review the video of any edits, happy to do that too, so. So it seems like next steps, we'll follow up with Ashley and Nate. The enterprise lease piece on, for potentially as part of that special meeting that we're doing later in February, and getting some more information on that and just the whole fleet and how this piece would work in. But then also a little more detail on, now that we're in general alignment on this being the schedule for the city side of things, let's layer in the school side, and maybe next finance committee meeting, we can talk a bit about, these are the dates. Because the school, I'm hoping, just like us, will have directionally kind of where they're at a little earlier too, or they seem to be great last cycle as well, so you all may be able to make a little bit more of a informed decision as we go through both sides of the process.
Well,
Excellent.
this is only a 60-month lease, not a 72.
60? Oh, interesting, sorry, I thought it was 72.
No, that's okay.
That's-
I was like, wow, 6 years for a vehicle that price?
The, yeah, that makes sense on the 493 too, the 493 being higher,
Yeah.
but that end of, that book value at the end of the cycle here. I don't know, it's
This must
pretty,
be a bare bones vehicle.
it's not, you can look at the details in here. Actually, are they in here? Yeah. It's got heated seats in the front and the back.
Wow.
You know, and if you look online, it's, I did the car and driver on it. You know, remote.
Huh.
But like, that's one of the reasons I have an EV is I also received about 20,000 off MSRP. Up in Maine, it's a little more difficult, but unlike police and some others, you know, the full mileage of this vehicle, charging overnight, you're at City Hall, it's not a take-home car either. So, you know, it's gonna more than enough cover. There are busier times during the summer when the vehicle would have the most range too, so. As I
It's fully electric, not hybrid.
Yep. As I found out with my car, when I had a 20% charge left coming from Castine, 0-degree weather, I got the red turtle, and like extremely reduced or dangerously reduced driving performance popped up as I was driving here last week. So yeah, it's good to have them fully charged on a very cold day before you start driving out.
Yeah, that's only, so you'd only need 493.28 for 4 months, right?
Right, so 2,000.
Yeah.
I would think that could just come out of code.
I think you've got to have that somewhere. You wouldn't have to take it out of reserve or anything.
Right.
No, I don't think so. I think we could, I mean, we definitely have places we can pull it out of. We're under budget on a fair amount of our line items, so.
I would just do that.
Yeah, just do it.
I thought, I was looking at it differently, but looking at that and it's only 60 months, that's a
Okay.
heck of a deal.
Yeah, and the 14th, there could be a different rebate, but if, it could go down to 8,000, or it could, and it's kind of on hold for us too, and then, so. Let me look internally.
I'd look through your budget, find $2,000 somewhere.
Okay, I'll find that. Yeah.
Chair says to do it.
Yeah, I've got, my stipend budget, which was at 92,000 for the previous years, is at like 10,000 this year, so.
Yeah, I'm just thinking too, do we know when the chargers are getting installed?
The spring, but we just kind of finalized that piece. The grants are all approved. I know there's some, some federal, I was a little worried about that, but we're all set on that front. They were all pre-approved.
That's great.
Funding already been dispersed to the main pieces. So our tax credit will go in. I don't think that the feds can that would be the only last piece. I don't think that you can eliminate a tax credit until a different
Try.
Congress.
I admire your optimism and
Well,
search for logic.
yeah. I was just gonna say, I think it could be a nice opportunity to highlight the Chargers and like our first electric car.
Mhm.
Just, to bring attention to the Chargers and all that, so.
Yep. And as I said last time around, yeah, when I was hoping that a lot of the other cars, when we went to more of a lease, were going to be cost effectively for EVs. And it wasn't there yet. But when he brought this one to me, it was like, okay, now this long-term maintenance costs, 4-code, 4-wheel drive vehicle, this is a good deal for the long term and maybe something we can keep moving on. Yeah, and very heavy. So I will say that my EV in the snow is very nice. Compared to my 1993 Jeep Wrangler, which I drove around here last.
Interesting comparison.
Yeah. We call it a lollipop because it spins like a lollipop when you go anything over 15 miles an hour on slick roads.
But it's cute, and that's important, too.
It's very cute. When in California, it was a lot more.
Yeah.
It's funny because it is a Jeep, and then you can get 2 feet of snow and 4-wheel drive low on that thing, and you're doing great. But you drive more than 15 miles an hour, and you're taking no anti-lock brakes. Very short wheelbase, extremely light car. I mean, you can open the hood, get inside the next to the engine, close the hood, and still work on the car. So it's.
You don't see a lot of those in Maine.
No, I think California didn't rust out, so it was almost perfectly. Now it's got a little rust on it.
Which is where Jeeps go.
I was gonna say, I got to enjoy one this summer a couple of years ago, but then it gets packed away.
Well, I'm excited now. It's just I've done the rust coating on it. It's in good shape now that I've got a newer car and can put miles on that. I'm looking forward. My son's 6. I'm looking forward to him being I think 9 or 10. We'll put it up. We'll start working on it. Get it back.
I see you said we're headed to a gravel pit, he's gonna learn how to drive.
Well, that's
That too. Stick
Yeah.
shift.
Yeah,
Although these things, we have Blue Cruise mode on my car, and you get on the highway between Bangor and Boston, and you don't have to touch the steering wheel. It drives hands-free, which is like a wild experience the first time you do it.
Don't do what my dad did and teach me how to drive a stick shift when I was 13 at our camp in the woods, and I crashed it into a tree.
see, my boys learned on a tractor, so
Everett taught me, but we were in Portland. So what a horrible place to learn how to drive a
that's
stick
true.
shift.
It's true.
Yeah, my dad,
Portland.
Yeah.
I'll never forget getting onto the 5 interstate freeway, which is, 10 lanes on either side. And I can still vividly just remember that. Like clunking into third, and then just seeing this wall of traffic coming in.
Yeah.
We had an automatic too, but no, he made me learn on the stick shift in California, which is probably almost as bad as driving in the woods.
You didn't crash it.
Awesome.
One question before we're done. I have 4 emails that say contract agreement DocuSign. I'm assuming that's phishing and that we're not doing DocuSign.
Let me talk to Ashley. We talked about, because of last week when we had this,
Right.
there's a couple of people sick, and I had a kid sick, and we were out there. I did talk about, getting a signature option, but I haven't
I'm not
talked.
gonna open them, but I'll leave them there and not delete them until I hear otherwise. But
Yeah, I hadn't-
if we are
It
gonna go to
shouldn't be through-
DocuSign, you should.
It shouldn't be
tell us.
through DocuSign, though. We were talking about doing it through Rever, so
And we did that
the
once.
signatures being through
I'm just
Rever.
gonna mark them as phishing
did
and get
that.
rid of them.
Yeah, and
I
I
think
was.
it's phishing.
I've been getting
I had so much phishing. I got 2 emails from Michelle asking me to contact her at my earliest convenience.
it. Me too.
Really? Well, that's
Yeah,
cool.
From a weird email address, so I ignored that one, marked that one as phishing. Thank you, yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, but I was about to say, I can't imagine that we would have deployed that already without having a little policy and notifying council, so that's probably
That
phishing.
was
but-
what I
I'm pretty
assumed, but
sure that I got one of those at work. Yeah, be cautious of fake DocuSign emails. They're Bitcoin and PayPal transactions. So we were getting them at work too.
Gotcha. That's too bad. I'll have a special lookout because I get plenty of that.
Yeah.
DocuSign and other, that's tough.
Yeah, I do too. We use DocuSign exclusively at work, so.
Yeah. They're pretty good too. I know with the finance department, they're always getting some of these things. I know when last year they had an email that looked like it was from me and a reply to that and then a forward to the finance on leadership training and executive coaching for 22,000. And it actually happened to be at the similar time we were doing some
Oh, wow.
general
Yeah.
like leadership training amongst the staff. So, you know, it wasn't beyond the realm of possibility, but I feel like they actually probably, like they have AI that scrapes our meetings. And I've seen I get these weird emails that are like recaps of our council meetings that look like news reports, and you can tell there's just AI that's scraped, and like they talked about this, and here were the arguments, and here was the this, and it's almost perfect like recaps of a real news story of what happened. Not as good as Sarah and the Old Youth American though, so you can always tell the difference still.
That's good.
Awesome. Thank you all.
That's it, thank you.